Picture this. Your country just won the bid. Fireworks, flags in the street, strangers hugging each other outside a stadium that hasn't even been built yet. Every news channel says the same thing. This changes everything. Billions of dollars flowing in, tourists by the millions, your city on every screen on the planet. So you wait. You watch the stadiums rise, you watch the roads get repaved and the airport get a shiny new terminal. The tournament happens. The world shows up. Everyone has an unforgettable month. And then everyone leaves. So does hosting the World Cup actually pay off? Turns out there are real ways a host country makes money back. And just as many ways that money quietly disappears before it ever reaches you. Let's go through every single one. Tourism spending. This is the obvious one. Millions of fans fly in for a month. They need hotel rooms, they eat at local restaurants, they buy jerseys, souvenirs, and one too many overpriced beers near the stadium. Qatar's tournament pulled in roughly $1.5 billion in direct revenue this way. That sounds massive, until you compare it to what Qatar spent to host it in the first place. Tourism spending is real money. It's just rarely enough money. Infrastructure legacy. Here's a way host countries actually can come out ahead, if they're smart about it. Hosting forces a country to build things it might have needed anyway. New airport terminals, new metro lines, repaved highways. If those upgrades keep serving regular citizens for decades after the tournament ends, the World Cup effectively paid for infrastructure the government would have had to fund eventually regardless. The catch? This only pays off if the country actually needed that infrastructure in the first place. Build a shiny new terminal in a city that already had enough capacity, and you've just built an expensive gift with no return, a highway to nowhere, dressed up as progress. Job creation building 8 to 12 stadiums doesn't happen by itself. Construction jobs, hospitality jobs, security jobs, transportation jobs. For the years leading up to the tournament, host countries see a genuine, if temporary, employment boost. The problem is the word temporary. Once the last stadium is finished and the last fan flies home, most of those jobs disappear with them. It's a short-term spike dressed up as long-term economic growth, and the workers who filled those roles are usually back to searching within months of the closing ceremony. Real estate boomland near new stadiums and transit hubs tends to jump in value. Property owners and developers in host cities can genuinely profit, sometimes significantly, from being in the right location at the right time. But this money rarely reaches the average citizen. It concentrates in the hands of people who already owned land near the construction zones before the bid was even announced. For most residents, this way to make money isn't really theirs to make. It's a windfall for whoever was already positioned to receive it. Global brand value. This is the hardest one to put a number on, and the one host countries lean on the most. Hosting puts your country in front of billions of viewers who might otherwise never think about it. South Africa used its 2010 tournament to help reshape its international image after apartheid. Qatar used 2022 to introduce itself to a global audience that barely knew it existed. Whether that soft power is actually worth tens of billions of dollars in spending depends entirely on who you ask. It's real. It's just nearly impossible to cash out. You can't deposit global recognition into a national treasury. Local business surge for one single month. Bars, restaurants, and small retailers in host cities can see revenue spikes they'd never normally hit. Fan zones packed every night, every hotel booked, every restaurant table full. It's genuine, immediate income for local business owners. But it lasts exactly as long as the tournament does. 30 days of a boom, followed by 11 months of business as usual. Domestic sponsorship deals. Alongside FIFA's own global sponsors, host countries often strike their own regional sponsorship arrangements. Local banks, airlines, telecom companies, and beverage brands paying for visibility tied to the tournament happening in their own backyard. These deals genuinely inject money into the local economy, and they let domestic companies attach themselves to a month of unprecedented national attention. The catch is scale. These regional deals are a rounding error next to FIFA's own global sponsorship revenue, which runs into the billions. Local sponsors get a slice of the spotlight. FIFA keeps the stadium lights. Hospitality packages and ticket resale beyond standard ticket sales. Host countries have their own tourism boards, travel agencies, and licensed hospitality operators selling premium packages, VIP seating, guided tours, transport bundles, marked up well above face value. This is one of the few places where host country businesses can capture real margin, because they control the packaging and the local logistics. But even here, FIFA takes a cut of official hospitality sales, and a meaningful share of the resale market ends up controlled by international ticket brokers rather than local operators, meaning even this local win leaks profit back out of the country. So here's the uncomfortable part. Add up every single way on this list, and it still usually doesn't cover the bill. Qatar spent roughly $220 billion to host the 2022 World Cup. Its total direct return, across tourism and every other category combined, landed around $1.5 billion. Brazil spent $11.5 billion in 2014, 85% of it public money, and built or renovated 12 stadiums. Within a year, several of them sat nearly empty. Economists have a name for that outcome: white elephants. Buildings so expensive to maintain and so useless once the spotlight moves on that they become a financial burden instead of an asset. Meanwhile, FIFA made roughly $7.5 billion from that same Qatar tournament, 5 times what Qatar itself earned back, despite Qatar paying for every single stadium, road, and terminal involved. Every way to make money on this list is real. It's just consistently smaller than the number the host country spent to make it possible in the first place. This is finally starting to change. The United States, Canada, and Mexico are hosting the 2026 tournament using a completely different playbook. Instead of building new stadiums from scratch, they're using existing NFL and Major League venues, stadiums that already have local teams playing in them and won't sit empty once FIFA leaves town. The total cost is projected around $10 billion, spread across 3 countries instead of concentrated in one. FIFA, meanwhile, is projected to earn $11 to $13 billion in this single World Cup cycle. Lower risk, fewer white elephants. The first genuinely different financial model in decades of hosting. But even this smarter approach hasn't erased the costs, it's just reshaped them. Security funding alone for US host cities came in above $600 million. Toronto's public cost estimate climbed from an initial projection of tens of millions all the way to nearly $400 million. And in parts of Mexico, hotel prices in host cities rose by almost 1,000% as the tournament approached. A price spike that rewards hotel owners while squeezing everyone else trying to book a room. So here's the real math behind hosting a World Cup. There are 8 genuine ways a host country can make money back: tourism, infrastructure, jobs, real estate, brand value, local business, domestic sponsorships, and hospitality packages. All 8 are real. None of them, alone or combined, tend to outweigh what it costs to host in the first place. FIFA sells the broadcasting rights. FIFA sells the global sponsorships. FIFA takes nearly all of it home the moment the final whistle blows. Your country keeps the stadiums. And somewhere, a finance ministry is already doing the math on how many decades it's going to take to pay this one off.